Hey everybody. So we are going to talk about balance, rider balance. So this is one of my favorite things to talk about. So what you want to do is you want to put your feet about shoulder width apart or like you're riding your horse. And you want to stay on the balls of your feet. So keep your heels kind of flexible, but you want to be able to feel all four corners of your foot. And what I mean by that is when you look at your foot, you want to feel the inside and the outside of the ball of your foot and the inside and the outside of the heel of your foot. So you want to be able to feel that on the ground. But you want to make sure that the ball of your foot has most of the weight. Okay. And then when we're talking about left-right balance, I want you to just watch my body. And what we want to do is we want to try and shift our weight like into our right leg or into our left leg. And just by shifting our weight, you can see how much my body moves. Now imagine if you're walking along and you've got a kid on your shoulders and that kid is moving as much as I'm moving. So just play with shifting your weight. You can do it in front of a mirror. And just shifting your weight that little bit throws your body that much. And so your horse is having to be like us, being a person with a kid on our shoulders. Our horse is constantly trying to make sure they're staying underneath us from a center of gravity perspective. And that's why left to right balance is so important. So just by shifting my weight a little bit, my whole body is moving. So you want to play with getting really good at knowing where your left to right weight is. Play with it. Play with, when you're standing and brushing your teeth or standing and doing the dishes. Just keep trying to get to center. Just try and get to where you are in your center. Being on your horse, they will completely appreciate that. So that's my tip for left to right. Now I'm going to talk about front to back. When we're talking about front to back, we can stand upright. And then if we get into more of a riding pose, what happens when I get into anxiety is I ball up. I mean, that's my go-to for anxiety. Well, that just shifts my center of weight forward. That shifts the horse onto the front end. A horse on their front end is going to go faster. It's going to be like a horse going downhill. So really just keeping our eyes up, keeping our head up, keeping our body back helps so much. And you can practice anytime you get tense. Practice just sitting back onto your seat bones. Riding in a car and stuff. When you have the reaction to kind of wanting to start, just really sit back, sit up. You want to be looking out 100 feet ahead of you. So keep your focus way out in front of you. One of the ways that some of the gaming people get their horses to stop on a dime, like playing keyhole and stuff, is as soon as they look down, their horse stops. So that's going to throw us forward. That's going to make us more insecure. And then the same thing with being too far back. Too far back, then if the horse does scoot, we go right off the back, which I've done. So you want to kind of just play with feeling how far back you can go, how far forward you can go, what feels good for you from a balance perspective. Do this on the ground before you get on a horse. Play with how far forward can you lean? How far back can you lean? You know, how independent are your feet when you're playing with this leaning? The more control, the better feeling you have in your body when you're on the ground, the better you're going to be in your stirrups. When you get on that horse, if you keep thinking about how your feet feel when they're on ground, and then you're getting up there and you're really solid in your feet. I know last time we talked about splitting our feet. So that's another way. You're really solid when your feet are split. Even like leaning, you're just super solid and you can split your feet either way. So that's a good way too. If you're starting to feel front to back unbalanced, split your feet. And that'll give you a lower center of gravity. So those are just a few of my tips for working on balance. You want to work on left to right and front to back. Think about all those directions when you're working on your balance. The better balance, the better you're going to have riding, and it will reduce your anxiety. When you're super balanced, you'll feel better on the horse. Have a great night.